Hey guys, Dark Skeleton back to continue covering the 3 crazy new cards that interact with Deathrattle that Blizzard announced for Goblins Vs Gnomes. So now we have one of the 3 cards, which is actually a neutral minion, which of course means everybody can play it. It's a 2/3 taunt called the Lil Exorcist that costs 3 mana, but has the battle cry effect to gain +1/+1 for each enemy Deathrattle minion. Now that Blizzard gave Hunters Feign Death, and with the piloted Sky Golem and the piloted Shredder, Deathrattle minions are a little bit more scary than they ever even were during Naxxramas. So I imagine the Blizzard design team got together and thought of, hey, what if someone actually wants to try to stop this Deathrattle BS? What if they need a counter to it? And the answer to that, of course, is in the form of the Lil Exorcist. Now on a regular board, a 2/3 taunt is actually pretty bad for 3 mana. If you can get 1 Deathrattle on the field, a 3/4 is really good stats for 3 mana, plus having the taunt is nice as well. But if say you're going up against the current aggro hunter who throws down tons of Deathrattle minions and you're just being overwhelmed, then getting out a 4/5 or maybe even a 5/6 for 3 mana with taunt would be excellent. But since this card gets stronger with one type of card, it really depends on the current meta whether this card is good or bad or not. However, I think even when Goblins vs Gnomes comes out, that Deathrattle will be really prominent still. Deathrattle minions like the piloted Sky Golem or the Harvest Golem that summon a new minion when they die are really powerful and that they are hard to remove from the board. So this Lil Exorcist should be pretty good for some control decks. I'm thinking along the lines of Priest, maybe Paladin. And I imagine that the card will see some constructed play until the meta shifts dramatically to something like a Battlecry meta. Now as far as Arena mode goes, I think this card will be a little bit worse because generally you don't see all that many Deathrattles in Arena. Sure, people will draft a Harvest Golem if they get offered a Harvest Golem, but that just doesn't happen all the time. They might have 1 or 2 Deathrattle minions on the board, in which case this card would be pretty good to play, but they also might not have any Deathrattles on the board, in which case this card is a total flop. I'd say though that even in Arena, if you're willing to hold on to it until the right time to play, then in a lot of games you can make it a 3/4, which is pretty good stats. And even in a worst case scenario, it's still a 2/3 taunt, which means it can block something and save you from dying. So maybe a average-ish card for Arena mode. Anyway, next up today we'll be taking a look at the Paladin anti-deathrattle card, the Scarlet Purifier, and boy is he crazy. I'll see you guys in the next video.